Wow, that was such a cool intro. Did you see the thing that moved and then we appeared? Hello, everybody. And H is not talking, apparently, because he doesn't want to say hi. Oh, there we go.
Hey!
Yes, now he knows how a podcast works.
It's my turn to talk now, right?
Yes. Now I'll just lean back and you'll talk for 5 minutes, and then it's my turn. And then that's how podcasts work, I think.
Yes. The one that holds the stick is the one who talks. That's how it works, right?
Yes, of course.
Yes, good.
Here,
good,
take
good,
this rule book. Please, I'm sending it through the camp.
Thank
there
you.
we go.
I got
Wow,
it here too.
that's so cool that worked on
Yeah,
live.
right?
Jesus, transport
It's like-
technology.
Here, you take it.
We all. Oh, okay. Oh, Jesus! Wow! Don't throw it so fast. I need to be
Fast,
ready.
It's like instantaneous. It's
Yeah,
like
but still, it
magic.
almost hit my face. Hello, everybody, and welcome to what I have called, without asking H if it was fine, the command point. What do you think about that name?
The command point.
Yes.
Well, I do get the point.
Because there's command points in the game now,
Yeah,
and
it's okay,
we
it's
are
okay.
commanders giving our points or on things and
Or
stuff.
pointing.
So this is the very
Yes,
first
I like-
episode, which means that we are, of course, gonna be rusty and not ready and not sure what we're gonna do with everything that we
Or
do.
not really have a thing or stuff like that.
Also, of course, if H's volume is bad during the whole thing, tell me.
Just tell me to be quiet, and I will.
Or
stop being
rather,
bad.
tell me to turn his volume up. I think he's pretty high now, though, so it should be fine.
I'm very high.
Or if I need to, if I need to lower him, if I need to mute him, just let me know, and I'll do it so fast.
Yes. Oh,
I-
it looks very pretty.
Very pretty indeed.
It
think it
looks
just
very
pretty.
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 Very
Volume is fine. Good. Thank you.
Volume
So,
fine.
welcome once again to the command point. I am Nurgleprobe,
And I'm H8.
and I think you can just say H when it's in that sense. Can you?
Yeah, maybe.
But maybe you should say H8 because
Yeah,
otherwise people won't look
clarification.
for you. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And then they will be like, "Who's this YouTuber who haven't done anything for the last 5 years?"
Mhm.
Damn, that H is so lazy.
Indeed, indeed. So there you go. Always have your full name inside the thing when you're
Yep.
talking about yourself in third person.
That's how you do it. Also, of course, we have, if you're talking in chat, that will pop down at the bottom below H down there. We can
Below
see your-
me?
Below, yeah, somewhere there. Don't below
That-
there. Anyway.
I'm not comfortable
So-
with this.
So, what's the point of command point? Did it again. See, command point is so great. It can be so many puns.
Unlimited puns.
Yes, exactly. It's perfect. This is basically our, I want to say miniature game pod, even though it will be 99% 40k probably.
Yeah, probably.
But if it ever happens, we could probably talk about other miniature games if we ever get into it.
Yes.
It's not really.
But,
Yep. Go ahead.
yeah, continue.
I'm just. It's mostly 40k, but we're keeping it open for whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah. That sounds
So.
like a plan.
You know, we're doing it lazy style. Let's not promise anything if we want to do something different in the future.
Yes.
Or maybe that should just be another podcast, like the Command Talk. Anyway, so today
No.
we're going to talk about the biggest news in the 40k game.
Yes.
Not
the
in
latest and the biggest.
the latest and the biggest news, because it's so big. It's even called big. Let me just make it visible to all of you before we start talking here. And boom!
And there
There
you go.
we go. Look at that beauty. The big FAQ 1 of 2018.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, now I realize why you don't have the chat on the other thing, or why you have it below me. Good.
Exactly. I'm going to close that I downloaded a file. Ignore that. I definitely didn't do that. Though it is freeware, I believe. Well, it's free for everyone that owns the game, and I do own the game. So it's fine.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
So today we are going to talk about the big FAQ 1 of 2018.
Yes.
I think they've promised to do 2 FAQs every year.
That I don't know.
I believe
Actually,
that's
can't-
in their plan
not
thing.
really.
I think it was 2 big
Yeah, probably.
FAQs.
But there you go.
And the big FAQ,
Sounds-
Can you
No,
tell us
continue.
what is the big FAQ? Can't you say something so that I can be quiet for a second?
So you don't so that everybody doesn't just hear your voice.
Even though I like
You-
my voice.
Yeah, and you
I
let the
feel like you
stuttering guy
should.
talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big FAQ. It's the way I understand it, it is the big rule change for everything inside the rule books of Warhammer 40k miniature game.
I really thought that you were gonna say it's the big FAQ. I'm like, yeah, we got that part.
It's a big FAQ, yes. No, but yeah, inside this big FAQ 1 of 2018, they have basically tweaked and twerked the rule set of several different things in the already established rulebook of Warhammer 40k, Warhammer 40,000 miniature gaming. Yeah, it's more of an overhaul. They have smaller FAQs sometimes. They already released sometimes that focusing on different factions. Like I believe they have done some small rule changes to like the Space Marines and the Eldari and the Astra Militarum and stuff like that. But this one is more a big overall change.
I'm showing
I
them all
guess.
the FAQs that are out now for 40k.
Yeah, good.
There's so many.
There are so many. But yeah, that's the well, big thing. The yeah.
That's the big thing about that, indeed. Yes.
Big thing about this. So just a quick overhaul. In here, they have done some big changes to how match play works. Like the big, not match play. The what's it called? Help me, Nurgle.
I don't know what you're looking for, but it's a word. It's a word. I have it.
It's a word. For the big tournaments. Yeah, how tournaments works really. So they changed a bit about how detachment works and the way you build armies, really. Some small things focused on different factions, but not really that much.
There has been tiny updates to all of
tiny
the
updates to
FAQs.
some factions, yes, but mostly it's an overhaul on how you build your armies
And
how
they
how they work and other stuff as well.
They also did a lot of Q&As in the codexes this time around, or in the other FAQs that have been out, just to clarify some rules or to add some ruleless explanations that weren't there before. Like in the proper rulebook FAQ, there's a lot of Q&As that kind of explains rules in a way that changes the way the rule works.
Yeah.
Or at least the way we thought the rule worked. Because something that is very fun about 40k right now, because the rules that they made for 8th edition are very simple. They're very simplistic in the basic set of rules. There's not a lot to learn, but they are so simplistic that every word counts. Like if something says this stays until the end of turn, and then you use an effect that you don't think should stay till end of turn, it will stay till end of turn, or like till the end of the phase or whatever. And it's some things gets interesting when that's a thing in the game. We are gonna look at that when we get to the rulebook part, but I think you know which part I mean.
I do.
It's about movement. And it's
that
really
thing,
confusing.
That's huge. Yeah. I can't believe that's a thing, really. I mean,
no, I'm not even sure it is a thing. I don't think it ever happens.
No, exactly. I don't think it would ever apply to like anything, but it's a thing.
Yeah.
Which it's weird.
It is weird.
Yeah, there you go.
Well. I'm gonna turn the music up just a tiny bit. Let me know if it's too loud, everybody.
Bit. As long as it doesn't get too loud and just takes over everything else.
No, it's probably not even gonna be audible.
Audible. Gotta do some audible stuff.
All right. Even if it's not audible, it doesn't matter. It's nice to hear something in the background for me as well.
Yes.
So, shall we just begin from the top?
Yeah, from the top. Let's just scroll down and see what happens.
So I'm in just so we're in the same document, you can see that I'm in the big FAQ document right now, and I think we're just gonna start from the top, right?
Same.
Should we
start from the top? Warhammer 40,000. The
big FAQ 1 2018. That was almost correct.
Almost synced.
And almost synced. And it's also a tiny bit of lag when you talk over the internet, so you never know. It's probably
Yeah.
synced somewhere.
Well, finalize match play rules.
Do we want to read
So,
every part of the text before we go through it, or do we want to?
I'm just gonna be
Pretty
clear. These rules was made after the big tournament that happened like a month or so ago.
Adapticon, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Or do you mean? Yeah. Adapticon was the latest big one, I think.
Yeah.
So a lot of changes
So
they
the way-
did obviously were based on that tournament.
Yeah.
Or
So you can
other
almost say
components.
that the Adapticon tournament was like a sort of like a test tournament, really, so they can see all the quirks and perks and things they need to tweak.
I think Vegas was before any big change as well. So it was
Yeah,
Vegas and Adapticon were the big two big tournaments that happened before this change.
But just to be clear, this FAQ and these rule changes are a response for those big tournaments that happened, and they have listened to a lot of responses on how people reacted to those tournaments.
Mm-hmm. And also
And,
kind of looking at the lists that made it and how people played certain things.
Yeah, maybe we should like tell on how those lists look like, just to be a background reference.
So,
or should we explain?
We can look at that as we look at certain rules that it matters for.
Yeah,
we could talk about it.
Fair enough.
Because let's talk about the first one, I guess. Psychic focus and targeting characters. So these two rules were in the last FAQ as beta rules.
Yeah.
Which meant that you could use them if you wanted to when playing competitive, or you could just ignore it. And that was for other players to try it out.
When you were playing, yeah,
but they were in these. Aren't these for the competitive rules only? Because you don't have to follow these rules when you play like open play and narrative and such.
I mean, I think you kind of do now.
It's matched play, so it's not for open play and narrative.
Okay,
yeah.
Fair enough. So yeah.
So the two things that they changed, or they have actually, I haven't played a lot since this big update, but I would like to play with. We have played a game or two after this. We did.
Not after this, right?
No, not after this one, but after the last one. I mean.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we play so much 40k. We're so qualified to talk about all the things.
We play every weekend of every weekend. No.
We read the rules all the time, though. Let's just clarify. We are very casual players, but we always play with the matched play rules, and we always care about those things.
We play with good intention. We play as probably as good as we can. Something like that.
But we don't want to break the game. We're not tournament players. We're not going to look at a list and be like, oh, so 5 of this tank is the best list, then I'm going to build that. That's not what we're doing. We're playing for fun, but we're still going to use the matched play rules.
Yeah.
So, Psychic Focus. This basically, they've changed it a little bit, didn't they? No, I guess they didn't.
Well, I don't think they changed anything.
Yeah, they changed one thing. The maximum warp charge now is 11. In the past, it could reach like infinite.
Oh, yeah.
So it couldn't be none. But now it's max 11. I think that changed from the last time. So whenever you use Smite, you want to say what's going on with this rule?
I want to go on with
Mr. Smite user?
Yeah. Because I smite a lot.
With your one librarian that you own or something like that.
Yeah, one librarian. Although I do have a lot of anti-librarian stuffs.
Yeah. Well, maybe librarian isn't the biggest Smite user in the game, to be fair.
No, but there you know. All right, Psychic Focus. Should I just read it up? I just read it up.
Yeah, do it.
With the exception of Smite, each psychic power can be attempted only once per turn, rather than once per psychic per turn. In addition, unless the psyker attempting to manifest Smite has either the Brotherhood of Psykers, see Codex Grey Knights, or Brotherhood of Sorcerers ability, see Codex Thousand Suns, you must add 1 to the warp charge value of the Smite for each attempt, whether successful or not. That has been made to manifest Smite during a given psychic phase to a maximum warp charge of value of 11. Yes. So basically there is each time before, you can basically only do 1 psychic power per unit, or per psyker, right?
The smite was always infinite.
The smite was always there for everybody, but every other rule. But yeah, then smite we're concentrating on, never mind.
Yeah.
So now smite is more like a overall thing in the Ethereum, I guess. So each time you use smite, it's harder to use, unless you have the Grey Knights or a unit with the Brotherhood of Psykers ability, or a Thousand Sun Sorcerer with the Brotherhood of Sorcerers ability.
Or actually just their sergeants and stuff. Because in Grey Knights and Thousand Suns, there's a lot of psykers.
Yeah,
they have a lot of smite users.
They're really reliant on the smite to actually do something in their army, because otherwise they're just standing there.
So the reason they added that was because they have a smite ability that is, or those abilities that they have let them cast smite, but they can only do a maximum 1 mortal wound. So it wasn't really fair that their ability got harder to use when their smite wasn't the problem.
Yeah, indeed. It was everybody else's smites.
Yeah, everyone else that could spam units that could do a normal smite. That was the problem.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore. Well, you can still roll a lot of dice and cast smite, because it stops at 11. So you can still roll an 11 or a 12 and succeed. Which means that you can always do the D6 mortal wounds, which is really nice.
Indeed. But then again, you have to account for the, what's it called? The dangers of the warp. Power of the warp. Yeah.
Stuff. So
when you roll a 1/1 or 6, you get a Perils of Warp. That's the word. Which make the Psykers try to manifest this power have to take a damage roll of a D3, I think.
I think it's D3.
Mortal wounds. Yeah.
Let me look while you talk about this. I'm pretty sure it's D3. Then if they die from that.
Yeah, after that, something else happens, but we don't need to go into
that. It has
that.
never happened to me. So when, the other day, I was listening to a rule talk, and they were like, "Oh, and then the Psyker can blow up," and I was like, "They blow up? It's never happened to me. They never died from perils. It's very rare that it happens."
Yeah. But it can happen to actually just damage them, which is not good for business. Anyway.
No.
So this means
don't spam smite users.
Don't spam. You can't really spam smite. You can spam smite, but it's not really as valuable to spam smite as much anymore.
No.
So basically, it just says each time any character, any psyker in your army try to use smite, after the first time you use smite, you actually have to have a better roll each time. Or you need to have +1. So the smite is a warp charge of 6, if I'm not completely wrong.
7, isn't it?
7.
Is it 6? I think it's
6 or 7. But anyway, so let's say it's 7.
Maybe it's 6. Well, whatever.
Decide. So it's 6. So that means the first psyker uses smite. It needs a 6 to manifest it, and the second smite for another psyker, or the same psyker for that matter. No, we can't really do that.
What are you even...
But yeah, then the second smite gonna take 7 charges, and the third smite needs 8, 9, 10, etc.
I think we spent too much time talking about smite.
We done that.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Just a footnote. For example, if an orc player,
we don't. It's just an example.
Yeah, exactly.
So whatever. Let's move on to the other one that we. It's a good change, but it's never really been a problem since, once again, we're not competitive players. We're never really gonna try and break the rules when we play.
Yeah, exactly.
It hasn't really happened. But is it my turn to read the rule then? I guess. So targeting characters. An enemy character with a wound characteristic. Wow. Fuck, I got the hard word. Characteristic. Yes, exactly. Can you read that word? Nope. With a wounds characteristic of less than 10.
With wounds of less than 10, you say that.
Yeah, there we go. Fuck, that's a hard word. Carrot stick. There we go. Perfect. Wounds carrot stick of less than 10 can only be chosen as a target in the shooting phase if it's both visible to the firing model and if it's the closest enemy unit to the firing model. Ignore the other enemy characters, or ignore other enemy characters with the wound of less than 10 when determining if the target is close to enemy units to the firing model. Doing well here with the reading.
Yes.
That's a hard word to read if you're not English for some reason, especially if you read it text-wise and you're like, there's a lot of C's.
Characteristics. Hey,
characteristics. There we go.
I did it.
Wow.
But
awesome.
yeah, let's talk about the rule, not characteristics.
So basically, what the rule does is, in the past, you didn't need the vision rule change, basically. So if you didn't have vision to another unit, you could still shoot at a character that was close to you.
Yeah.
Basically. So something that you could do in the past was you could use transport or sheep tanks to just drive up next to your units and that way block vision to whatever unit you didn't want to shoot at so that you could shoot at characters. But now the rule states that as long as another unit is closer compared to the character, you can't shoot at the character.
Yeah.
Also, something else they did is that characters can't block characters anymore.
Yeah.
So if there's two characters that are the closest that have 10 or less wounds, or is it less than 10? Less than 10 wounds.
Less than 10.
You can pick one. You don't have to shoot the closest one of the two. Because something people did in the past was use assassins. I don't remember which assassin it is, but whoever it is that has like a 2+ save.
Yeah.
With yada yada and hard to hit and everything.
Yeah.
They basically put him in front of characters.
Isn't it like the... no, it's not that one. But yeah.
I don't
so
remember
use that as
is.
a meat shield, really.
Yeah. So he would just stand in front of the characters and it was hard to hit, hard to kill, and then you would be sad.
Yeah. But now it doesn't matter anymore because you can just choose which character you want to shoot at.
Exactly.
Which is just it's really logical, really. I mean, yeah. The rule is there. You can only shoot at the closest. Oh god, I'm out of focus. There you go. But yeah, you can only shoot the character if it is in the front, and it's like another rule. If the two rules are the same, you can choose which one you want to affect, really.
Yep.
Yeah.
I kind of like it and I kind of dislike it at the same time. I understand it from a balance standpoint. Yeah. But at the same time, I kind of like the idea that you could drive up tanks and kind of block views. It doesn't really make sense that units would do that in a war. Guys, you're shooting the wrong people. Let me hide the enemies you're shooting at so that you can shoot at the right thing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't really have a problem with it.
Balance-wise, I like it.
Yeah.
Strategic-wise, I wish it wasn't.
Yeah, but then again,
that makes sense.
We would in that case we should take back the armor values of tanks to it's better to shoot a tank in the back in the sides.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I actually, I wouldn't mind some more depths to vehicles. At the same time,
I like it. I like it as it is. I mean, they did a good rule change for tanks and everything like that.
Alrighty.
But anyway.
Look at all this text that we're not going to read for you.
Yeah.
So,
tactical reserves.
They have added, is it 2? Yeah, there's 2 new beta rules that we can try out if you play matched play. You don't have to play with them, but they want you to try it. They want you to report what you think. Discuss it in the forums.
These are very good rules, actually.
These 2 rules
for everybody.
Yeah, and from what I've heard or read around the internet, the people that have tried the rules enjoy the rules.
Yeah.
So far. They haven't really noticed a horrible difference in effectiveness. Even though there is, of course, a difference, but it's like a turn later.
Yeah.
So the way that the 2 new rules work, are we going to do tactical reserves first then?
Let's go from top to bottom.
Yeah, we don't have to do the explanation part. Just do the rule part, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of tactical reserves, instead of setting up on the battlefield during deployment, many units have the ability to be set up in teleportarians or in high orbits in reserve, yada yada yada. Basically, you can put some units with some sort of ability that is applied to. You can set it up away from the board and then set it up on the board at a later turn. Yada yada yada.
Yada yada yada. That's best rules.
Yeah.
Yada 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 rules.
To read everything.
No.
But then again, here it is. Including those that are embarked within transports that are set up on the battlefield, you must set up at least half of your army
In
with
half
of
your
army,
power
point
rating.
wise, power rating or point wise.
You don't know. It's always power. It never counts points, even in matched play. It's always power.
Really
Yes.
weird. So
That's
they
how the rule works.
incorporated power levers.
Yeah, so now it matters in matched play.
Interesting.
And I think mostly because it's more simple to just do like, oh, this is that power, that power. So then you don't have to show your opponent like, oh, here's the list and this is the weapon it has there, so that's why that point is there.
Yeah.
So that makes it easier for everyone to see it. And second, it makes it so that it has a purpose.
Yeah.
More than just existing and nobody using it.
But so you need to deploy half of your power levels on the board, and then you can set up the other half away from the board to be set up later during the match. Furthermore, in match play games, any unit that arrives on the battlefield during a player's first turn must be deployed wholly within the controlling player's deployment zone, even if its ability would normally let it be set up anywhere. This does not apply to Yeastin cults, units that are being set up accordingly to the cult ambush ability, or to units that are set up after first battle round has begun but before the first turn begins, such as those set up via the forward operatives or strike from the shadow stratagems.
Yes.
Finally, any unit that has not arrived on the battlefield by the end of the third battle round in the match play game counts as having been destroyed.
Yeah, that's the same as before.
Yeah. So,
but, do you want to start?
How that works then?
Yep. Go ahead.
Yes. So, when you set up the first turn, you can only set up units from the reserves on the table in your own deployment zone as you set up your other units in the first turn. Second turn, you can set it up anywhere on the board.
And following the normal rules.
Yeah. Normally on the rules usually state that you can set up a unit anywhere on the board as long it is what's it called? As long as it is
without
further than 9 inches away from the closest enemy unit.
Yep.
Yeah. So you can't do that anymore on the first turn. But you can do it on the second and the third turn. And if you don't do it after the third turn, that unit you set up off the board or in the sea, teleportation, stratagem, deep striking is now destroyed.
Which has always been, and that part has never really been a problem.
No, really.
Just you want to deploy as soon as possible.
As much as possible, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But I really like this because now the enemy or you or the enemy have to wait another turn before they set up everything behind you.
Yeah.
I had a couple of games that I've been like, I'll set up over here, and then the first turn or the first enemy turn, I got the whole other army right behind my lines, and I got like crisscross fire from like the first turn, and that was just really, really horrible. I really like this rule change actually.
Yeah, it's really good.
It gives it gives time to actually do something with your army the first turn, and you don't really have to worry about an ambush until the second turn.
So there's a lot of talk about this ruining some armies that uses a lot of deployment or like reserves. But at the same time, I'm like, maybe they just balance those armies. Maybe it's not breaking them. And another complaint is, of course, that firing line armies are getting stronger now because they are on the board to begin with, and they get to shoot all of the guns before the other army, if they are a reserve-based army, before they get to deploy.
But then again, that's a thing you have to account for anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a army that is focusing on deep striking, then you have to know that, hey, I will get shot. You have to account for being shot at by a whole other army in the beginning anyway.
Yeah, in the first, if you don't get the first turn,
Yeah, exactly.
Like if your opponent is shooting before you.
Yeah, so that's just basic.
So that was
knowledge.
Basically the same before, but now they have to survive. No, they don't have to survive. It's just that sometimes they might want to deploy some units first turn in a bad way because they've lost so many units the first turn. But that's whatever. That's just more strategy, I guess.
Yeah, that's just more strategy, more to think about, or less to think about if you don't have to worry about being deep striked first turn.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you can still deploy. I mean, you can still put units in a position.
Yeah, I mean, if you have like a objective marker inside of your deployment zone, you can deploy units from deep striking on those points if you need
Yeah.
to. That is always a valuable strategy, or just deploy them and then no, you can't.
Why
deploy and
would you
run
ever
anyway.
want your units to survive the first turn? Well,
No,
the
never.
big problem. So the big problem there about facing a Fireline army is the fact that if every model dies, you're out of the game without ever getting
Yeah.
to play a turn.
Indeed.
Then that doesn't happen very often, but it can happen.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, the deploy half your what's it called again? Power ratings.
Army.
Man.
Yeah.
So hard because you never use it, so it's hard to remember what it's called.
Yeah.
Half the power rating is also something that might stop reserve armies from having too much in reserves.
In reserves.
Yeah. Because you have to deploy. But you honor the emperor. But
Yeah.
yes, but now not on the first turn. You don't honor the emperor so much.
But you honor an emperor for being there on the board.
Also, my just pro hint: paint your Gene Stealer cults right now, because they can deploy anywhere still.
Yeah. And so does my Raven Guard. Strongest
Well,
army in the game.
You can only use the stratagem
Sort of.
once, though, right? Before the game. Says you can only use one in match play.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just.
But since it says it's match play, you can only use it once.
I can because I have the rule book right here. You can set up a unit. Blah, 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 blah. No, it doesn't have a. Use the stratagem when you set up a Raven Guard infantry unit during deployment. You can set up a unit in the shadows they are placing on the battlefield at the beginning of the first turn round, but before the first turn begins, the unit emerges from the hiding place, set them up anywhere in the battlefield and more than 9 inches from enemy models.
It doesn't matter what he reads right
now. It doesn't
now.
have a limit.
But it's matched
So you
play,
spend command points
which means
per
that you
unit.
can only use a
It says
stratagem
one command
once.
point, so you can spend like 3 command points to hide 3 units.
But he's not listening
that
to me.
pop up anywhere on the board,
But it's fine.
if you so chooses.
But it's
Choose
matched
to do
play,
so.
so it can't.
Nurgle, are you there?
What? Yes.
Hello. Have I muted
That
stuff?
he probably
muted
muted
stuff.
me.
I muted everything.
Hello. Hi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm now.
So I've been
here
explaining
now.
to why you were wrong while you were looking this up. Because
Why
it's
am I
matched
wrong?
play. You can only use the stratagem once in a part.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I was like, yeah, he's reading this for no reason whatsoever because it doesn't matter. But okay.
No one can answer me back if I don't hear them.
All right.
Yes. Well,
Time
then again,
wasted.
Yeah. Time
But-
wasted. Good.
But at least you can do that. So you can do.
Yeah.
But would you want to? Imagine facing like a huge firing line. You have one unit, and you're like, well, this one unit is going to be behind your first turn. And then maybe I don't want them behind you
depends on the
alone.
unit, really, and it depends on
Also
the unit.
depends on objective markers, I guess. Maybe you want to
Yeah.
try and stop him from having an objective.
Fuck's sake.
So, the next rule. If you want to do that, I can read the next rule, which is super short.
Yeah, Battle Brothers.
Battle Brothers.
Battle
All of the units in
Brothers.
each detachment in your battle-forged army must have at least one faction keyword in common. In addition, this keyword cannot be Chaos, Imperium, Eldari, Nari, or Tyranids, unless the detachment in question is a fortification network, so they don't count into that. This has no effect on your army faction. So, if you were like me, the first time you read this, I thought this stopped soups completely. Soups being when you mix
Yeah.
different codexes and books and armies into one army.
Into one army.
And I thought
Yeah.
that this stopped you from taking different detachments from those keywords. But that's
Yeah.
not what it does.
No.
Instead, it just means that you can't take those keywords inside one detachment.
Yes.
So you can't take your Space Marines with your Imperial Guard in one detachment. But you can still have one Imperial Guard and one Space Marine detachment in an army. Because they share
Yeah.
the Imperial keyword. And you can use the Imperial keyword to your army keyword. Still.
Yes.
Hey, great. So it's also interesting that it says Inari right here, because Inari is a bit different for them, how they work now,
Yeah.
but we're going to talk about that first. But what do you think about this rule?
I think it's when I first saw it, it really, yeah, as you said, it really messed me up because I have some. It really confuses me about the Imperium stuff, like assassins and my silent sisters, because I've been working on how to incorporate those units into my army. I'm like trying really hard lately to actually do something with them, and I thought this really effed things up for me really, really bad.
Mhm.
But then, and it's gonna be explained later on how it doesn't really fuck things up. So I think it's actually a good thing.
Yep.
Still, it doesn't change too much, really.
No, there's like
Because
some detachments and
it's still hard.
tournaments that is
Yeah,
ruined,
I
but
mean, yeah, sure. But still, I mean, even though HQs for different armies are supposed to work with their respective troops. So you have HQs like let's say you have a Space Marine captain. They can only interact with other Space Marines. It's not like they will help Imperial Guard units,
no.
and vice versa for Imperial Guard HQs.
Well, the one thing is
So
that Celestine does that, but now she can't be with others anymore.
yeah, but then she can interact with other units on the battlefield anyway. So
Yeah, but you need Battle Sisters then in her detachment,
yeah, but then
or
that would
whatever
make some in a way.
units she can have.
But still, I think it's a good rule.
Yeah,
It makes things clearer. It makes things simpler in a way, actually, if you think about it.
yeah, it's when you know what you can do with each detachment. Yes,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
honestly think
So,
that the rule should have been as hardcore as we said in the beginning. Like,
yeah,
that those couldn't be your army keywords.
yeah,
That's what I would like to see, because I feel like that would make every army more thematic and fun. I guess it would still
Yeah.
be thematic that Imperium goes with Imperium.
yeah, exactly. But then it would be more of an alliance thing in a Imperial army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly because, one, there are so many armies that don't get any kind of benefit from detachments. Yeah, you were gonna say something?
Yeah.
Or?
No, you won't.
Okay.
Continue.
And it almost feels like if you're a tournament player, because I'm talking about tournament players, even though we're not tournament players, it's always like, if you can mix Chaos, Imperium, and these kind of keywords, you have so many options to do whatever is good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you have so much to pick from that it's easy to be like, oh, this is the broken unit at the moment, so I'm going to take that, and then I can still mix it with this unit, and then I can still get my sheep guards to guard me from any kind of reserves, and so on and so on.
Exactly.
And I feel that's kind of sheep. I kind of wish that each
it is.
army would just be its own thing, where it has a strength and a clear weakness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Whilst Chaos and Imperium can really just pick whatever they want to make the best, strongest army.
Yes.
But that's just what I think.
That is, I agree with your thinking.
You agree with it? Yeah, that's nice. I've been thinking correctly today.
You have been thinking correct, and I will approve of your thinking.
Isn't that quite expensive to do? Well, the thing about tournament players is that they spend a lot of money on their armies. The main list, all the spammable lists that are in tournaments, they're kind of expensive to do. But I'm feeling like they don't do... I haven't seen their armies firsthand, but I'm guessing that they don't focus so much on the painting and the hobby part.
No,
maybe it's more like color wash, color wash, color wash, color wash, and then some basing, and you're done.
Yeah.
But that's the Battle Brother rule. I like it. I wish it was harsher. It's still not official, though, these two rules that we just talked about.
Yeah,
so
but still...
the tournaments are still going to use this rule, I believe.
We will use them anyway.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a really good rule.
Yeah. We have never really had a problem with this. As I said, we're not tournament players, so we never really tried to...
I've done it once, though. Mixed some things.
We have done it.
I had a detachment with one assassin in it.
Yeah.
Which I can't do anymore.
Oh,
so now I have the problem.
You
What?
can't do it if it's a Vanguard detachment. Can't you have it mixed in with
Yeah.
other Imperium
We're
units?
we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it.
to it.
Yeah.
We're also gonna get to Unari in the future. I mean, I want to talk about how Unari works now compared to before, but we'll talk about it further up, I think.
Yeah, because it's good. It's coming down now, really. That's next in the FAQ.
So let's
related errata.
Yeah.
So this is what I've been talking about, really.
Let's talk about the ones we care about. I don't really care about the damned Legionnaires. I think that's
It's really just the three other things on this thing.
Yeah.
So for me, was I've been talking about my Null Maidens, my Silent Sisters, and the Assassins. Now, before I had a real headache because I needed like to do my detachments with Silent Sisters in, I needed a HQ to lead them.
Yep.
Which was really, really hard because which HQ should I use? Should I use a what should I call it? A Custodes General? Should I use a Spaceman General? Should I use a Inquisitor as an HQ? The possibilities was endless and was really confusing, and I couldn't really find a model to help me. And
yes,
but now
that's how we usually act.
But now I only need 3 Silent Sisters in a Vanguard detachment. I don't need an HQ. I just need to fill out the Vanguard detachments, as in 3 elites, and then I'm done. Only problem is I won't get any command points for that detachment, which is kind of a give or take situation thing, I guess. I don't really know how to feel about that. I'm a bit disappointed actually, because I lose. Well, it's just 1 command point, but I lose that command point in a way. So it means like, for me, it means less command points per model in the army, which is kind of a bad thing. Yeah. But then again, I get to use my Silent Sisters. But well, I need to buy 1 more squad of Silent Sisters in order to do that, or 2 more Assassins. I can read it out actually. So this is basically the same thing for both the Silent Sisters and the Imperium Assassins. So I'm just gonna read the Null Maidens here. Null Maidens, so long as your warlord, that is the warlord in the army, not in the attachment here. So you always apply 1 warlord per army.
Yes.
Single out one leader, 1 HQ as your warlord in your army.
1 character. Doesn't have to be
1
an HQ.
character. Exactly. That's true. As long as your warlord is from the Imperium, you can include this unit in a Vanguard detachment, even if that detachment contains no HQ units. However, if you do so, that detachment command benefits are changed to none.
Yes.
So basically what I've been explaining. So now my choice is either I buy 2 more assassin units in order to fill out the Vanguard detachments with assassins, or I buy 1 more squad of Silent Sisters in order to fill out the Vanguard detachment with Silent Sisters.
Yeah, they're not really that.
The Silent Sisters.
Man, no, just Sisters and Assassins overall. Like, they've been nerfed because of the character rule. They've been nerfed because you can't mix them.
Yeah.
And it's... Yeah,
they're not really viable anymore. I can agree on that one. Maybe the Assassins. Maybe. Because they're still powerful units.
Yeah, maybe.
Silent Sisters, not so much, because they're really weak. They don't really give out much support, and they're just really situational for Psychers.
I feel like as soon as Silent Sisters... I'm guessing that they're going to be in the Battle Sisters Codex, or if they're going to make a... No, it feels like it should be in there.
Yeah.
At least then you can add like 1 to the Sisters detachment.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, or maybe they're gonna be in the assassin codex if there ever is.
Yeah, maybe. Let's.
We'll see.
There might be an Inquisition codex.
I hope they get good stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So, the Yunari then.
Oh God, I'm not gonna read this rule because it's so long and tedious. But basically, the thing that has changed for the Yunari, or the Army of the Reborn, is that in the past you could just take 1 Inari character, call your army the Unari, and just pick whatever you wanted from all the other things. You can still basically do that, except now to make a detachment into an Unari detachment, you need to have one Unari character in it.
Yeah.
So now you're actually maxed out at 3 Unari detachments because there was only 3 Unari characters. So you need... Yep.
Never seen it that way, actually, but yes.
Yes. So you actually need to play all 3 of them if you want 3 detachments. And I'm guessing that's not going to happen, but who knows? So the Unari army is actually weaker because of that, because you only played one of them before, just to get the Unari rules, and then you didn't really care about the character per se. So it's really different for them now, because they can't just take detachments in any way or form they want, because in the past they could do that and get a lot of command points that way, because they could pick Sheep Dark Eldar and then do Harlequins for combat and yada yada.
Yeah.
So they've changed a lot.
Like that. Yeah.
A lot of people think, it's a huge nerf, and I feel like it's more like a balancing thing, really.
Yeah,
and I still like the fact they can still take the different armies, but the thing is now as well, that I forgot to mention, in the past they could, of course, mix all of their units into one detachment.
Yeah.
These days, they have to pick what kind of detachment it is to begin with, and then put another character into it. But now they do Dark Eldar, or Dakari, Craftsworld, or Harlequins.
Yeah.
And they can only build the detachment from that codex, and then they put the Unari in, and then it becomes Unari, and then,
Yeah.
That's how you do that.
So basically, is the way you build armies with Unari now is you take a detachment and fill it up with either Craftworld, Eldari, or Drukhari, or... Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, those three.
Stuff. And then you make a Unari leader in that detachment in order to make it a Unari detachment.
Yeah. That's how it works. And I'm guessing, I'm not going to read up exactly, but I think you don't have to have another HQ. Like if you do a patrol, you can have the Unari as your HQ still.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I mean, you do have to make...
It's all there in the FAQ. You can go and read yourselves. If you're an Unari player, you probably figured all this out already.
But I think, I think the way I guess you still can use others' HQ. Only you need one Unari HQ in that army. And maybe even you need a Unari Warlord in order to make it Unari.
Yeah, your Warlord needs to be Unari.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing.
And yeah, you can add them to a detachment, so they will be the HQ of that detachment.
Yeah.
Yes. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't play them. Vixen Tail plays them, so she cares, but it doesn't really matter because she can still play what she plays, so it's all good.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't really... I mean, all these rules are really much, more or less, clarifications. And
these rules that are right here that we just went through, they are just to clarify what happens with the Battle Brothers rule. Yeah,
exactly. The only thing now is also with the Assassin and Null Maidens, I think it's a buff, really, in a way, because you now can but it's easier
because you don't have the HQ now.
Yeah, exactly.
You do lose that command point, but as we're gonna see soon, you can get more command points overall now. So
yeah, this is huge.
Oh, this is actually the next point. Awesome.
Yeah, it's actually the next point, and I really like this. They've changed. I'm really excited about this.
Do it.
I have my new Custodes army. They are like really, essentially they are a specialist army. With characters or with the units, they are really, really expensive. So we have very few units per army.
Yep.
And now it's... Oh, God.
It's so exciting, man. So exciting.
Yes.
Get a small
Essentially, for the battalion detachment, that is a detachment with... Oh, I have to actually...
2 HQs and 3 troops.
Yeah, 2 HQs and 3 troops.
Yep.
And the brigade detachments, which is
2 HQs, 3 troops, 3 fast attack, 3 heavies.
Wait for it.
I'm waiting.
Battalion detachment. You need 2 to 3 HQs. Minimum of 2 HQs, minimum of 3 troops.
Yep.
And the brigade detachment.
Let's see
you
whether
need a
I'm
minimum
correct.
of 3 HQs.
Oh, it's 3
6
HQs.
troops, 3 elites, 3 fast attacks, and 3 heavy supports.
Forgot
What
about
it
the troops.
did is increasing the command points you get for using those detachments. So before you get 3 command points for each battalion detachment, and 9 command points for each brigade detachment.
Yep.
Now you get 5 command points for the battalion, and 12 command points for the brigade detachment. And this is really huge for me that uses Adeptus Custodes. So now I get 5 command points instead of just 3 command points when I use a brigade battalion detachment, which is like the detachment I can max use, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially with some of the other new rules.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess, yeah. It's true for everyone at the moment, but we're gonna get to why in a bit.
Yeah. So it's really good for me because lately I've struggled to see how I can use my command points with a Custodes army because I get so few.
Yeah.
I could like use a battalion detachment, and then I could maybe have another detachment with a vanguard, but didn't really work point-wise.
No. So that's the big thing about elite armies, that they get more for just being a tiny army now.
Yeah.
Which is really good for them.
Exactly.
They still need more troops than they might want normally. But
yeah, but
it's still worth it.
Yeah.
And I also like it because I like troops choices. I like the fact when armies are more troops than special characters. Unless the army is very specifically that.
Yeah.
But then the army should kind of, like Death Watch that I play, they feel very that word again. They are characters, even though they are troops. And you kind of feel that. So it still works for them. But
yes,
they are also very expensive in points. I was going to swear there, but I avoided it like a pro.
Very expensive in point, indeed.
So more troops, I enjoy that. I like seeing troops on the battlefield, and it's fun that you get more command points so you can actually use your things now.
Yeah.
If you're an elite army.
Yes.
So if you have 1 battalion detachment, you get 8 command points now. All in all.
Yeah, exactly. You get 8 command points because you have a what was it called?
Battleforged army.
Battleforged army and the command points.
Yes.
And for the brigade detachment, you get 15.
That's kind of insane. That's a lot of troops. I don't know whenever that's going to happen. One day.
Like every Imperial Guard army?
Imperial Guard can do it, yeah. But don't they just want to take 3 battalion detachments then?
Maybe.
Cheaper in points.
Yeah, sure. That is also a thing.
And it becomes more... Yeah. It will be 3 more that way.
Anyway, it's more choices.
It's a good change. I like it. I like command points. Command points are really such a big part of 8th edition.
Yeah,
that I feel like this is just good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't actually mind seeing a +1 to the command points of all the other ones. So it's 2 instead of 1.
Yeah, maybe. At least for the... No, not really.
No? Because you don't want people to spam good units and get benefits?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's good as it is right now, because just think about it. You think about spamming like several outrider detachments.
Mm-hmm.
So you have like 3 fast attack units and an HQ, like everywhere.
Yeah. Well, it still wouldn't be as many command points, but okay. I understand.
It's okay.
Now let's see, what else have they changed? Oh, this is so good. This right here. So I'm not gonna go through the explanation, but basically, Tide of Traitors, you can only use this stratagem once per battle. It's the change that they've added to that.
Yeah.
And that stratagem, I don't have the codex or the index, but basically, if you have a huge unit of cultists, they go down to 1 single guy alive. You can use the stratagem and say, oh, I'm going to deploy that unit again, but in full strength somewhere else.
Yeah.
1, it doesn't cost reinforcement point. Like, you don't have to pay for those units that come back. They just come back.
You
just got 30 more shots. 30 more bodies on the battlefield that you can set up deep strike rule-wise anywhere.
No.
Isn't it?
No, it's
outside 9?
no, you need to do it.
Is it table
It's not
edge?
deep. Yeah, it's table edge.
That might be the thing.
I
As I
can't
said, I don't have the rule
remember
in front
if
of me,
it-
but
I can't remember. I have it used against me once.
yeah, it might be a table
then-
edge thing.
Yeah, it's table edge. I
Still
can't
pretty
remember
much
if it's
anywhere.
from the deployment zone or not, but I think it's table edge at least.
It might be that, yeah.
Yeah.
It might be
But
within
it's-
9 from a table. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But
it's not
it's
deep
still
striking.
basically anywhere. Really.
Yeah,
When it's
it's
30
just really
guys,
strong.
that's just going to pop out and shoot you again.
Yeah.
And you can only do this once now, because it was kind of bananas that you could get 30 guys back
Yeah.
and then get 30 guys back. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's no.
And
it's good.
cultists overall is also one of the most cost-efficient units in the game at the moment.
Yeah.
A lot because of this rule, because they are spammable, they shoot a lot, and when you get more dice, it doesn't really matter that they shoot badly, because some will hit and some will wound,
Yeah.
and getting them all back for free is just... Well, it's not free, but basically free.
Yeah, it's good.
So, great change.
Good change, yeah.
And then they have some
World
Eldar
Phoenix.
things, which we don't play or play with anyone that has that,
No,
so...
do we really need to get through this?
No, I think we can jump over that one.
I can jump over that one.
Ignoring
Ignoring
wounds, they've just
wounds.
basically cleaned that up so you can't have two abilities that do a feel no pain rule or a ignore wound rule, because feel no
Yeah.
pain is not a thing anymore. But if you have
Yeah.
an ability that says ignore a wound on a 5+ or a 6+, if you have two of those abilities, you can't stack them. You pick one, you use that one.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter to a lot of things. It's like the warlord trait that gave you a 6+ feel no pain or ignore wound ability.
Yeah.
That's kind of the one thing that it matters for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just really easy. So organized plays. This is what we were talking about in the beginning of the stream, at the beginning of this talk, of how they reacted to the what's it called the
tournaments.
the tournaments. Yes.
And how people play
So-
those.
Background story.
There
once guess. was
a time where players
spammed
fly rants.
So in the beginning or before
In the beginning or
in
before?
tournaments.
Before the beginning.
List of the tournaments. How can we say this in a good way to explain this? They spammed a lot of good army units. So, for example, they could do an army where they took like the best units in the game for like each individual army. Like for Tau, it would be the battle suits.
That
For
was stopped in the codex, though.
It was.
Yeah, you could only take one commander per detachment in the
Yeah,
Tau
but they
codex.
have. Oh, that's
So
true.
they actually... This is like fixing for the rest of the armies as well.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
the Tau got a fix, but yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that's how we got to fix. But anyway, so you could like spam elites, really. That's what I'm trying to say, I think.
Or HQs.
Or yeah, or HQs,
Or heavy supports.
or heavy support. So you can't just take one unit and just use it everywhere.
No.
Now you can only use a fixed amount of units, have a fixed amount of a unit in the game at the same time.
So the way the
So-
rule works, let's take that first, is that when you go
Yeah.
to an organized event, the guidelines for how many number of detachments you have or data sheets you have depends on how many detachments and points you play. So
Yeah.
if you're up to 1,000 points, so 0 to 1,000, though 0 is never a thing, I guess, 500 to
Mhm.
1,000, you can have
It
2
says here
detachments.
up to 1,000, so it doesn't really matter.
No, up
It's
to
not
1,000.
Yeah.
You can have 2 detachments or up to detachments.
In the
and
army.
up to 2 data sheets in the army.
Yeah.
This doesn't count transports or troops. So you can have any amount of
Yes.
transports and troops. But for
Yes.
all the other data sheets, you can only have 2 maximum.
So be clear here, data sheets are equivalent of a specific unit.
And then 1,000 to 2,000, it's 3 detachments and 3 data sheets. And then 2,000 to 3,000, which is not really something that I think sees play. I think 2,000 is usually the tournament limit. I believe it is. But then they up it one more, so then it's 4 per army and then 4 per army on the detachments and data sheets.
Yes.
So continue.
Which is very good. This means, as we've been talking about for off stream, this means a more varied units or army list, really. So you can't just spam one unit everywhere in all the detachments.
Yes.
So you have to vary your troops a bit.
Finally.
Finally.
So it doesn't matter to all armies, but it matters to some armies. So, for example, the Tyranids that took like 1 million Hive Tyrants or 1 million Hive Guards, they can't do that anymore. They can take 3 Hive Tyrants in a tournament game. And they can take 3 units of Hive Guards in a tournament game. That still might be super strong, 3 of each. I don't know. But they can't spam it more beyond that anymore.
No.
So that is good. What else?
That is really good.
The Tau was already fixed through the Codex, but
yeah, exactly.
In general, this also sets up for the future where people just can't look at a Codex and go, "Oh, this unit is actually just the strongest thing, so I'm just going to take that over and over and over."
Exactly. That's pretty much what I'm trying to explain. Yeah. So you have to take now. I believe now when you build armies for the different, what's it called? Tournament. You look at the codex and go like, that unit is really strong. I can take up to 3 of these or 2 of these or whatever, depending on the point limits. And now I have to think about what other unit is a good, what's it called?
Support.
What?
Support? I don't know.
It's a good support for that really strong unit. So you have to like get more synergy really in your army instead of just, this is good, let's just spam it to infinity and then win.
Yeah.
Or hopefully win.
So I know that some people have complained about the Imperial Guard actually, in this sense, because when they take tanks and vehicles, they take squads of vehicles. So they can actually get 9 Lehman Russes and 9 Basilisks, even though it's the same data sheet. It's because they come in units of 3.
Yeah.
So.
But then.
Yes.
Yeah. Continue.
So people are complaining that they get these strong units, like more of their strong units compared to other armies. But at the same time, no one has spammed Lehman Russes in a tournament. It might be better now, but maybe that's just because the game is more balanced now in tournaments because of this rule. So who knows?
I can agree on that one. And I mean, I can't really see. Oh, another thing then, this thing, you have to really think about, then again, units, troops. But you have to, exactly, you have to think about how to maximize your data sheets then, or your units in a way. I mean, it still applies to like elites. So let's say I have my vanguards. I have to think about if I want to take 5 in one squad or 10 in one squad in order to get the best result, really.
Yeah. It's harder to split up units that can have more troops in,
Yeah, exactly.
So, for example, if this is a bad example because no one plays this, but as an example, if you play Space Marines and you want bikes, you can't really do 6 units of 3. You need to do 3 units of 6.
Yeah.
Or, whatever the equivalent would be, So you have to put them in bigger units now instead of having a lot of small units.
Yeah. And the order for that, and what's good with that is, the balance-wise, is it's much harder to roll good in morale tests. That's where the balance lies.
When it comes to those,
Yeah.
So, well, most of the units that they've targeted, the morale won't matter anyway, really. But it's a good rule. No. I just like it.
Yeah,
I don't like spam.
It's a really good rule. No. I mean, it's just boring to watch.
Even though I'm painting 3 basilisks at the moment, and the 500-point challenge that we're doing is now invalid because of this, but because we're going to play with this rule, even though it's an organized event rule, I feel like we are still going to play with it because it's just a good rule.
Of course.
And it messed up because we are doing a 500-point challenge where we are doing 500 points armies and we're gonna play against each other. And I have 3 basilisks and an HQ, which I can't do anymore because that is breaking this rule. Unless I put them into, as we said, into a squadron.
Yeah.
But that also means that I need to take a different attachment than what I had at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's fine. I'm gonna work it out.
I'll
just take a patrol with 3 heavies in it. It's all good.
Yeah.
Or with 1 heavy or whatever. I like it.
Good.
It's a good rule. I also like that they clarify that you can still take any amount of troops in dedicated transports. Some dedicated transports are probably gonna get super good again. Like Razorbacks might be spammed again now.
Yeah, that could be a thing.
Maybe. I don't actually know.
Maybe. I mean, they're kind of expensive.
Yeah, they did raise the points on them, right?
They are a bit expensive for that to be spammed, but yeah, I don't know.
Could still be.
Rhinos.
At least you can spam them. So tournaments player are gonna be like, what can I spam now that's broken? Let's look at all the troops and transports. Actually, Dark Eldar or Drakari has a great.
Damn, this is amazing.
They're like Venoms everywhere, please.
Yeah.
Venoms are crazy, by the way. Can't believe that they lowered the points on Venoms.
Ooh, I know from my my what was it called? Necron army.
Mm-hmm.
Are Doomsday Ark dedicated transports?
Yes, they are.
They are? Okay, good.
So
that's really good for me.
I really like I never whenever I see an army in an army report or a battle report, they never play the transport, but when I read up on the transport, I'm like, I love this unit. Why are people not playing it? Maybe it's just expensive in points. I don't know.
I don't know.
So, then they've changed some points at the bottom here. Do we want to...
we don't really need to go through that.
Is there anything here that matters to me?
Nothing matters to me.
Sly Marble got changed.
I don't have Reboot the Guilliman, so... Doesn't matter.
Chaos Demons, I think they upped the points on the trees. Because those are the trees, I think. The Feculent Gnarl Moss. I think those are the trees. Because people used to tended to spam them and get the assist effects from those. Oh my god, he's dying. Save him. Someone call 911. 112. Any number. 90,000.
Don't swallow your...
Don't swallow your spits in the wrong pipe.
Sorry.
Yep, okay. I'm just going to continue talking about the points. So since I don't play all of these armies, or we don't play all of these armies, it's kind of hard to say what happened to the points. And the person who has the Space Marine Codex actually just left. Get the Space Marine Codex! Hello? It's going to be fun. Because I am interested to see what happened with the points on the Space Marine, or the Guilliman.
About me.
Hello again. So... I know they raised the points on the Dark Talon, because Dark Talon spam was a thing that happened in tournaments.
Yeah.
Can you check if Guilliman went up or down in points?
Yeah, sure. I can do that.
Because this is the second change, so I don't know if this is like down or up from the last FAQ, though.
The way I did reading on this, I think he got raised in points. Oh, no, wait, that's point list. Those are all the weapons. Where are the point
While we're
lists
looking for this, hi everybody in chat. Thank you for being here and watching us live.
Oh, chat.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, of course, there's a link down below so you can go to the Twitch page and give us a follow there, and there will be more episodes. Just check the event list, and we'll upload events there, or have events there to whenever we will do these again in the future.
Here there are point values. Let me see here. Elites, fast attacks, flyers, name characters. Robot the Guilliman, 360.
Okay, and here is 400.
Yeah, but so I increased him by 40 points.
But I don't remember, because he was changed in points once already. So I don't know from that if he was lowered or raised.
No.
I don't actually know.
No, he haven't been raised in points before. There was another... I think you're thinking about They raised Magnus, the red in
Yeah,
points, I think.
that's not what I'm thinking about Gilliman.
Are you
Or
sure?
Gilliman. Yeah, Gilliman. Yeah.
Well, that I don't know. From the basic stuff, or from the first edition.
Yeah, from the first edition,
Codex.
40 more points.
Yeah.
Alrighty. And then I know the Tyranid units are up in points, so the Hive Tyrant with wings is now 190. I think it's up with 10 or 15 points or something like that. I do have the codex here, actually, so I can just check. So you can talk while I go and check for points.
I can't talk. I just swallowed my own fluids, so I can't really.
So it's up
Well, I guess I
20
have the
points.
Up 20 points.
So it was 170, and now it's 190. And those the Hive Tyrants with wings is one of those units that were spammed, but now you can only have 3 of them in a 2,000 points army anyway. So people are still probably just going to use 3 of them. And Biovores, yeah.
Biovores.
They were also upped in points. Wow, they were actually up from 36.
Wow.
So that's 14 more points on those.
Well,
good on you, Games Workshop.
Good
breaking
on
units.
you, Tyrannids.
Good on you looking at the broken stuff and fixing it.
They're all very bad now.
I don't think so. I think the Tyrannids are still a super strong army.
Yeah, they are.
What?
I want to play against them again. It was fun to punch one eye in the face. Or no, it wasn't one
or
eye,
in his one eye.
It was just a regular con effect to get punched in the face, but it was fun.
Right, and that was it for the FAQ. And yes, we are going to
Yes.
play board games tomorrow. I want to play board games tomorrow anyway.
Yeah, too. I too.
So now we're going to jump into the rule book part of this talk, where
The
we're going to look
rule
at the... I guess it's mostly Q&As about what has changed, but there's
It
some
is
fixes.
just Q&As.
Uh,
I mean, no, it's just Q&As, I think. Oh, no, it is...
No, there are some points, but most of it's from... Let's actually go through it. Ignoring wounds, we already went through that. That is
Yeah.
just that you can't double up on that effect anymore.
Yeah.
And then let's see.
Bark.
Let's see. If all models in a unit end their movement within 3 of a friendly transport in the movement phase, they can embark within it. And I'm guessing they added the word within here.
Yes.
I think.
I think before it was just like if you have one model of a unit within 3, you can just
Isn't
go
it-
inside.
No,
But now, I think
I
so.
think the whole unit had to be... But I think it just said... Move...
Within.
We're gonna check. I'm checking the rule. Which page is it? 183. We're both
Right, yeah.
checking at the same time.
Page 183. Yeah, because I don't trust you. If all models in a unit end their move within 3 inches of a friendly transport. No?
Let's see. Is this one of those rules that they say they changed something, but it's probably just like a dot somewhere that was
If
wrong?
all models in a unit end their move within 3 inches of a friendly transport in the move... Oh, they added in the movement phase.
Oh, that's good.
So they can't like...
They can't get
charge.
psychic powered into a transport and then
Yeah.
move into the transport anymore.
Yeah, it has to be in the movement phase. So that's the thing. Good.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so they can't just end any kind of movement within a transport anymore. It
Yeah.
needs to be in the movement phase. Okay, that makes sense. So that makes so that some
yeah.
psychic powers. I don't think anyone ever broke this rule anyway.
Eh,
It's just to clarify how it works. So that's
it
good.
is. So,
The next is the Warlord. Change the first sentence to read, once you have mustered your army, nominate one of your models to be your Warlord. This cannot be a model with a fortification battlefield role. Oh, you can actually pick any model. to be
Yeah.
the Warlord. What is different with this then?
I think...
I'm going into this
guess-
book.
I guess it's...
We are so prepared, by the way. We definitely checked all of this before we started.
yeah.
This is a part of a Sorry about hitting the mic. This is a part of the podcast. You need to join us on discovering. Oh, they just added this cannot be a fortification.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Well, sure. This is my warlord, but that's a wall. Yes. Perfect.
It's a very charismatic wall.
Yes. Do you see that graffiti? Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I just swallowed my own fluids. Yeah. H did that. We're very sorry.
No.
Let's see. And then we have the organized event thing. That was just about
Doesn't
the
really matter.
no.
And we have the battalion detachments and the brigade detachments.
Yep,
we
we
already
talked
covered
about
that. All the gray scuffs. Here are the questions and answers.
Oh yes. Do you wanna read the first one, or should I read the first one?
Can I be the stupid question guy and you can be the answer guy?
Oh, okay, sure. Go.
I can use my voices.
Excuse me. If one of my units shoots an enemy unit in which only one model is visible, and I resolve the attack only one at a time, slaying that model.
Okay, maybe not that one.
No.
Slaying that model before I have resolved all of my units' attack, what happens to the rest of the attacks? Are they wasted?
I just needed to read the question properly before I saw the answer here.
Because I can't really be followed.
Okay, so the answer is yeah, I could. It's just like I want to be sure that I. Anyway.
Yeah.
So the answer is no. You determine the number of attacks the firing unit will make against the target unit before any of those attacks are made. I.e., before any hit rolls are made. If you are resolving these attacks one at a time and your opponent removes the only visible model as a casualty, you still continue to resolve the remaining of the firing unit's attacks against that target.
Yeah. So it's more of a clarification, I think, when you're firing at the squad. There's like the half of the squad or most of the squads are behind a wall. And you make a shooting attack against the squad, you still have to like keep rolling in the wound. The rule still follows the squad around the wall, which is weird in a way, but makes sense in another way.
For me, it makes sense because nothing never stands still, right? So the unit is probably just walking out into the open and getting shot.
Yeah,
that's in my head canon. That's how that works.
Yeah. Next question. For rules and modifiers of weapons, carrot sticks. It's now called. For rules that modifies a weap's characteristics. It's called carrot sticks.
No,
okay?
carrot sticks.
Yes.
No, just say character. Character.
No, you can't really say that either.
Characteristics.
For rules that modifies a weapons characteristics.
Characteristics.
It has twice this word. If that characteristics,
characteristics. I've just learned this word
from now on.
Carrot sticks. Yep.
Yeah. For rules that modifies a weapon's carrot stick, if that carrot stick is a random value, how is the modification applied? For example, if a rule increases a weapon's damage carrot stick by 1, and the weapon's normal damage carrot stick is D3. What is the modified carrot stick?
I died. I can't even. Oh. Well, if your carrot stick. Let's see. Any such modification is applied after the random result is rolled. In the example given, the modified characteristic would be D3 plus 1.
Yeah. I can't really see how anyone ever would misinterpret that rule, really. There you go.
It's clarifying it, I guess. I don't know how...
That was really clarified, but then again, it's like increase weapon damage by 1, and it's a D3 damage. I mean...
D3 plus 1.
D3 plus 1, I mean...
It only matters if you do the multiplier thing, because then the order matters, but that's not even in this rule, so I don't know. It's just for stupid people, I guess. Apparently. Let's see, the next one.
People who can't say characteristics.
Yeah.
Characteristic.
See, you just say character, and then you say istics.
Characteristic.
Yeah, that's the word.
Next question that is highlighted in glorious pink.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this answer.
2 enemy infantry units are within 1 inch of each other and in the same piece of terrain. Do they both receive the benefit of cover against shooting attacks made with pistols by the other unit?
Yes. Next. So this is actually a good clarification because this wasn't really. Yeah. To be fair, cover is saves isn't really clear in this edition.
No, not really.
Terrain and cover saves is just ugh in this edition,
Yeah.
to be fair. Usually,
It is.
if you play games, just talk to your opponent, what is cover, and then you play the game. That's what I think you should do anyway.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, here it is. If you have two units from different armies, obviously, that are shooting each other with pistols,
Mhm.
and they're both in a cover, let's say
in a
they're
terrain
both in a
piece or-
crater. What?
Yep. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's
In
say
a
that
crater.
both units are in a crater that gives +1 to cover.
Yep.
In shooting phase.
Then
If
they get
both units are in the same crater facing each other, they both get the +1 cover effect.
Observe, though, that this whole unit needs to be in it. So,
Yes.
if one dude stands outside, you don't get the cover.
Yeah.
To clarify that.
Which is both weird and self-explanatory and weird.
Yeah. But it's also explained, like, just above, all of its models must either be on or within the terrain. Right there.
Yes.
So, but, yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Next
is
question.
which is weird. Like, I'm shooting you. I'm in cover. No, your friend over there is not in cover. Oh no,
Yeah.
Bob! What are you doing? Why are you eating
But then
ice cream
again,
outside the crater?
For the same thing, it's kind of the same thing as the unit behind, half the unit is hiding behind the wall. But they're
Yeah.
still in movement, I guess. So, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's like covering that they aren't completely in the cover yet. They're like moving into the cover, so they can't use
Yeah.
it. Next question.
So- If my unit, which is equipped with pistols, is within 1 inch of an enemy unit in a shooting phase, but the closest enemy unit to some of the models in my unit is actually another enemy unit, i.e. not the enemy unit that is within 1 inch of my unit. Which unit do those models shoot at?
This is actually a really good, not good, but it's interesting. This
Yes.
answer. So each individual model in your unit can shoot its pistol at the closest enemy unit, whether it's the unit within one of the firing model's unit or not. In such circumstances, the firing model can shoot at the closest unit, even if other friendly units are within one of it. Which is super interesting.
Yeah, and kind of hard to get your head around also, at least
But
for me.
it means that you can shoot out of the combat.
Yes.
If there's another, if your unit or one of your models is like far back from the close combat, they can't, and another unit is next to them, they can shoot at that unit because it's closer.
Yes.
And it's weird.
This
I feel
is-
like it should always be shoot at the unit you're in close combat with if you're in close combat.
But
so-
apparently,
That's not how it works because that's not how they worded it originally. So they're staying with what they did in the beginning, I guess.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's I
Yeah.
think the way I just said it would have been a better rule.
Yeah.
They can only shoot at the unit they're in close combat with if they use their pistols in close combat. But
apparently
then
that's not
again, it's not. There's no such thing as being in close combat anymore.
No, that's actually true. It's all about
It's all about being
within 1
within-
inch of another
yes.
unit.
So that's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
Because in the past you
So-
were in
Because
combat.
then it actually makes sense for the unit to actually shoot out from the close
Yeah,
quarter
because they're
combat.
closer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, it's just a
Yeah.
clarification, and it's also good because now we know that they can shoot out at other units. Observe that you can't shoot into a fight with pistols unless your squad is in close combat as well, because then they can't. Oh my god, it's so weird how that works.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. Continuing.
continuing. What's oh gosh, more wow. There's some more
Yeah,
questions
it's
here.
got a lot of here. Maybe we should. How's the time actually?
I
question.
think we can do this. We're at 1:30, but we also had like 10 minutes of nothing, so it's probably fine.
Fair enough. Okay. Question: is it possible to use a stratagem from one codex to target a unit from another?
Yes, so long as the stratagem is being used on has the appropriate keywords. Note that stratagems in Codex Chaos Demons and Codex Tyranids are specific exceptions to this, as discussed in the relevant FAQs and errata. So, yes.
It's called errata.
Yeah.
I call it errata.
Errata!
Errata.
Comes on from down under. I call it errata. Anyway.
Oh yeah. So basically, is if you have a stratagem that says like
Imperium.
Imperium. You can use it on other Imperium units.
Or
even
Nurgle
though they're not,
for
Yeah.
me.
yeah, even though they're not in the same codex.
So the only thing is that the Chaos Demons Codex and the Tyranid Codex have specifically said that they can't do that because some of
Yeah.
those powers would be too good. Like the Chaos
Yeah.
Demons one would be able to target so many different other, like all the Death Guard units and such. So they kind of changed that for them. They need to be demon
Yeah.
units as well, I think, or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yes. There is
yes.
actually an example here, but then let's just skip over it.
Yep.
Question: for the purposes of the strategic discipline matched play rule, as
That was a long word and sentence. Yep.
yeah. For the purposes of the strategic discipline match play rule, are stratagems with identical names that appear in different codexes, e.g., Veterans of the Long War, which is a stratagem in Codex Chaos Space Marines, and Codex Death Guard, and Codex Thousand Suns, considered to be the same stratagem?
Yes.
Yes.
So what this means is that you can only use each stratagem once each phase. So it doesn't help if you have... Yes?
Is it per game or
Per phase.
turn?
Per phase.
Per phase. Yeah.
So you can't... If you have Thousand Suns and Death Guard in one army, you can't use it from both codexes.
Yeah.
You can only use it once, as long as it has the same name. And that is also
Yes.
why they changed the name of a few stratagems in the
Yeah.
FAQs, I believe. So that they are different. Because they were worded different. Some stratagems were worded different in different codexes because of the armies, but they still had the same name, even though they were different. So now they've
Yeah.
changed that to have different names if they are different. So that's good.
Yeah.
Uh,
That is good.
doesn't really matter that much. Just a clarification.
No, not really, but this clarification is always good.
Yes.
Question. I have a question for you, Nurgle.
Oh, what's
If
the
both-
question?
Yeah, here. If both players have stratagems or abilities that are used at the beginning of the first battle round, but before the first turn begins, for example, if both players use their forward operative stratagem from Codex Chaos Space Marines, who will resolve their abilities first?
This is a really good question, H. Let me answer that by not reading exactly what the answer is. Unless the rule in question says otherwise, the players roll off, and starting with the winner, alternate resolving such blah blah blah. And then they alternate resolving such rules one at a time. And this is actually new. Because in
Yes,
the past,
it
I
is.
believe they said that the player whose turn it was,
Yeah.
did it first, and then they alternated. But now you actually roll off for it.
But then again, the way the way it should be done is, I mean, order-wise, is that you first determine. Wait, I have to think about this.
You determine whoever has the first player
Says,
thing.
the thing says, what's it called? Beginning of the first battle round, but before the first turn begins. I mean, you still have to roll.
See ya, Nozak.
Goodbye, Nozak. You still have to roll like who's gonna start first, and that stratagem begins before that, right?
And this is after you do all of those parts, right?
No, I think
Beginning
it's
of the
always
first
been.
turn, but before the first turn begins. Then you still have decided. Yeah, this is after you've decided
Yeah.
on all the things like first player, deployment, yada
Yeah,
yada.
you decide on the first deployment rate, but you haven't decided whose first turn it is, right?
Yes, you have, because you have already
Yeah.
deployed everything at this point.
That's right. But no, you have deployed everything, but you still have done the first turn roll off.
I mean, I don't have a code. Do you have a codex? Read the because it's the same as the Raven Guard one, right? I
Yes.
believe. So if you read that one, what exactly when you can use it?
In the you mean the stratagem?
Yeah, yeah. In the
It says
Shadow
the same
Strike.
thing. It says the same thing really. Use the stratagem, you can set up a Raven Guard infantry unit during deployment. You can set up the unit in the shadows instead of placing it on the battlefield.
That is during
At the
deployment.
beginning of the first battle round, but before the first turn begins,
Oh
the
yeah,
unit
but
emerges from the hiding place.
right, that doesn't matter, right? Because you just take turns deploying.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter at that point.
Exactly. I think. I mean, you take turns to deploy.
Yeah.
Then when all that is done, the one that's set up, finish setting up first, get a +1 on their first turn roll.
And you do
Yes.
that first.
No, you set up the shadow strike things first, then you do the turn roll off.
Yeah. You do that.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing
Yeah,
wrong.
but they
That's
don't
why
appear on the
we-
board until the game's.
Yes, you do.
No, you do the stratagem. You say this unit is in the shadows. Then the
Yeah, you
other
do.
turn, a player deploys a unit, and then you deploy a unit, and then it's his turn,
Yeah.
and he might say, "Oh, I also do that with a stratagem."
Yeah.
And then it's your turn again, and then after that,
Yeah.
you roll off who begins, and then there's a part before it starts. You can trigger that ability.
Oh yeah. That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Yes. Okay.
So you still have.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter since you're gonna roll off who does it first anyway.
Yeah.
But yes,
All right.
that was a lot of talk about nothing.
There was a lot of talk about that. Next
Hope you
thing,
enjoyed it.
then. Of course they enjoy it.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
We're gonna get so much hate on the internet now. You're wrong about rules.
Next question then.
Oh,
There are rules for advancing state. Oh, this one's the cool one.
this is the cool one, yeah.
The rules for advancing state that you roll a die and add the result to the move carrot
Carrot stick. Yeah.
carrot stick of the models in that unit for that movement phase, in quote. If for whatever reason I am able to advance and then move normally with that unit in the same movement phase, does that number I added to that unit's move characteristic when it advanced still apply when I make the normal move with that unit? For example, if I have a unit whose move characteristic is 6 inches, it advances and I roll a 6, adding that to its move characteristic to make 12 inches. If it moves again in the same phase, its move characteristic is still 12 inches. So can it move up to 12 inches when making this move?
And here comes the very interesting answer. Yes.
Yeah.
Note that a unit cannot advance more than once in the same movement phase, so the move characteristic of a unit can only be modified once in this manner.
Yes.
But that is interesting.
That
I
is
don't
really
know
interesting.
when it matters. It might matter like to some stratagem combinations with Unari, for example, where they can move using their ability. But
But it still means that
so whatever
when
you
roll
added. Yeah, say it. Say
Whenever
it, my friend. Say it now as I
That
disturb you
means-
once again.
No, I don't want to anymore. That means when you have advanced something and you roll the advanced roll and that roll is added to that movement of the unit, that sticks
For the face. Yeah,
for that phase.
and that is super
Yeah.
interesting. Because
That is super interesting.
I've never thought of it that way, that it sticks around.
Me neither. I
And-
always thought it was like a temporary thing.
But also, when does it matter? Probably not very often.
Probably not, because when something has advanced, it's
It
finished
had-
walking.
Yes, exactly.
Unless you have.
Unless there's some stratagems
does-
or some
How does
abilities.
quickening work?
Is that the...
The psychic power.
Oh, but that's a different phase. So
That's
that
right.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's in the psychic phase.
No, it's no. It does matter.
Read me quickening.
Let me just find it first. Veil of Time. Here it is.
that was
Manifest, pick a Adeptus Astartes unit with his 8 inches until the start of your next psychic phase. So next psychic phase. So it
Yep.
goes past your movement phase.
Yep.
You can re-roll.
Oh.
Okay, it doesn't really matter.
It was a completely different thing.
It's just re-rolling advances, so
Yeah.
never mind.
Nope.
No. Okay. So yeah, so it's hard to see when it's can apply really.
Yeah,
But
but
I
that's
guess-
actually a good point, though. If there's any psychic power that sticks until the
Yeah.
next movement phase, it will be affected if they can move twice or something like that in that turn.
Yes.
So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Next.
Next, if a stratagem instructs you to select a unit from your army at the start of the turn, can I choose one that is not yet on the battlefield because it was, for example, set up in Teleportarium Change during that deployment?
No, unless the stratagem specifically says otherwise. And this, to clarify, they've added a lot of this now with this FAQ on this RADA that's going on.
Yeah.
That if it's not on the board, you can't do anything with it. Most of the time.
Yes.
Like 99% of the time.
Yeah. Here's basically the same thing, I think. If I set up a unit on the battlefield as reinforcement at the end of my movement phase, can I then use any stratagem that are used during your movement phase?
No, unless the stratagem specifically says otherwise.
Yes.
That's interesting, actually.
Yeah, because you set up the thing and then the movement phase ends.
Exactly. So
Just
there's
straight
no
up end.
opening in there, but it's still interesting
Yeah,
that you
exactly.
can't.
Yes.
We both read the chat and we were like, yes,
Yeah,
we agree. But it's
if you use a stratagem to remove a model from the battlefield and set it up again, does that model retain any persistent effect? For example, a bonus to one of its characteristics as a result of an ability?
no.
No.
So this is what
So that is.
it doesn't keep anything. This was
Yes.
also what I was talking about. If something moves away and onto the table again, things don't stick and
Yeah.
you can't use it on them. And it's a good change.
Mm.
Or
Yeah,
a good
it is.
it's a clarification, I guess.
Yes.
It's not
When
really
a unit question.
Yes. Yes,
When
H.
a unit is chosen to make a charge move and fails to charge, do they still count as having charge? Specifically, can a unit that has failed a charge move be chosen to pile in and potentially consolidate towards an enemy?
This one. I read so much about charging when the Tyranid Codex came out, because I think there's a stratagem there that talks about if a unit charged. And
Yeah.
a lot of people said if you roll charged dice, it counts as being has charged. But throughout all of that discussion, Games Workshop came out and said if a unit failed to charge, they don't count as charging. They haven't charged.
Yeah.
Because they just stood there. And that is
Yes.
very interesting that they don't count as charging even though they attempted to. Anyway, a unit
Yeah.
only counts as having charge if they made a charge move. If a charge fails and no models make a charge move, they do not count as having charged. As such, they
Yeah.
cannot be chosen to fight in the fight phase, and so cannot pile in or consolidate, unless an enemy unit moves within one of them.
Yes.
Yes. And that is, that's good, but a little bit confusing if you don't know about it. Because in my head, if a unit tries to charge, they have charged.
I mean, not to me.
I mean, they haven't done the
always
actual
see them-
charge. It's more like a failed charge. But it does, yeah, it's weird.
They have attempted to charge, but it didn't charge because it stands still in the same place.
You talk
And-
about that while I look up the stratagem that there was a discussion
Yeah,
about.
do that. And it's weird because it's not weird because then if the thing haven't been in close quarter combat or close quarter range, then they shouldn't be able to do a pile in on consolidate or anything like that because they haven't been
No, that makes sense.
charged.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That part I'm completely fine with. They still failed the charge, but it doesn't count as them having charged,
Yeah.
which is two different.
Yeah, because failed charge is no charge. At least for me. I mean,
Yeah, but failed charge still is an attempted charge in my head. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's an attempted charge, but you haven't charged.
No. But
Therefore,
let me see if
there
I
is
can
no
find.
charge happen.
You could read the next thing while I try and find the thing that I.
What do you mean? Read the next question and answer. You mean?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah, exactly. As the thing explained in the chat. But the next question. When a unit that can fly declares a charge move against a unit that is on an upper levels of a ruin, do I need to include the vertical distance when making the when making the charge move for that unit? No. A unit that can fly effectively ignores vertical distances when making a charge move. Note, though, that the charging unit must still be within 12 inches, measured directly base to base, i.e. diagonally, to be able to declare the charge in the first place, which is actually kind of self-explanatory. Yes. So I don't really have much to say about this. Because, yeah, still the rule applies. It says it's there, really. I mean, you charge, you can only charge within 12 inches, and if something is further away than 12 inches, you can't charge, and yeah, that's about it. I suppose maybe it's more of a clarification of how vertical distances work, because Games Workshop is really, really bad explained it right now, because now it's just measure it anywhere as long as base from base, and it's like, yeah. And it's still, they don't really have much rules for buildings, really, for floors and stuff like, for vertical distances. It's just
The thing that
now
actually
it's just distances.
it's like a clarification, but it also they've changed the way objectives works as well with this. Is that you measure, like if you attack a flyer, for example.
Yeah.
You measure, because they measure from the hole, they don't measure from the base. You have to measure from your unit's base up to the hole on the thing you're charging.
Oh yeah.
So it actually, in some cases, it will be harder to reach, depending on the base, of course. But
yeah,
so
that is a thing.
Yeah. So sometimes you might think that you reach, but if you measure upwards, it's gonna be exactly off the thing. So that's interesting. Yeah. And the same is with the objectives now. You can't be horizontally aligned with it. You actually have to be aligned with it range-wise from wherever you're standing, base to center.
So in a 3D environment, really.
Exactly. I can't find the rule that everyone was fighting about at the moment.
Okay.
But oh well.
Oh well.
There was
Continuing,
a rule that people. Yeah.
This is an easy one for you to answer. A long for me to read.
Is it an important one, or can we just skip it? Oh, this is actually a super important rule, so let's take it.
Yeah.
Because we can discuss this.
If a unit declares a charge against an enemy unit that is entirely on the upper level of a terrain feature, such as a ruin, sector, mechanism, structure, etc., but it cannot physically end its charge move within 1 inch of an enemy model from that unit, either because it's not enough room to place the charging unit, or because the charging unit is unable to end its move on the upper levels of the terrain feature because of the expand terrain rules for it. As with ruins, for example, does that fail charge, or does that charge fail?
Yes. And that is
God.
Remember that we've usually played, like, if you stand next to the building on like a base edge, we've allowed that to be a thing.
Yeah.
But now the rules actually clarifies that is not allowed to be a thing.
Yeah. So basically that means you can
buildings are
technically
broken.
just make something unchargeable if you just occupy all space on top of a building.
And there's a lot of complaints about this, like Mortarion, for example. He can't basically charge anything on a building anymore because he can't fit.
Yeah.
Even though he's like next to them, miniature-wise, he can't attack them. So it's kind of stupid.
That is weird.
It's not a problem very often unless you have a board with a lot of buildings that we usually actually do have. We usually play with a lot of buildings on our boards. So this is a rule that really matters to us.
It's gonna be fun to hide units on top of buildings, just keep on shooting.
Like heavy weapon squads and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. They are super good now on rooftops.
Yeah. Hell blasters!
Well, any infantry unit, really. Like, just Death Guard, like Plague Marines? They're super hard to kill anyway, and now you can't charge into them, so they can just stand on a roof and shoot.
Yeah.
I need to get me some Plague Marines. Painted. To clarify. Hello, Das. Well, we just kind of started. But
this is
thank you for stopping by.
This is a change for the answer for the question.
Oh. What about rules that add models to exist? Oh, yes.
What about rules that add models to existing units? Do I need to pay reinforcement points for those models?
No, Unless the rule specifically say, oh, what does it actually say? Unless the rule itself says otherwise, or adding the models would take the units above its starting size. And there we go. Poxwalkers are ruined forever.
Yeah.
Because Poxwalkers had the rule that they did not pay for the extra units or the extra models they added. Now you have to pay for them. And Poxwalkers, if you didn't know, was like the one thing that Death Guard had, other than their tank, that were super good.
Yeah.
Professionally interrupted podcast to say hello. That's what we do here.
Yeah.
We are not professionals.
No.
And
Why would we be professional when we could be like
Noobs.
non-professional?
Yeah.
Yes, noobs. Noobs are fun.
So noobs are funny. And we're not professionals. In like 25 episodes.
Maybe a little bit more professional, yes.
Maybe a bit more professional after 25 episodes.
Yeah.
So we're also going to do shorter episodes in the future. This is like a super
Yes.
special long one. In the future, they will be shorter. Anyway, Poxwalkers suck now.
Yes, good. I like that.
Except they can still go up to 20 for
Don't
free.
care about that.
Yes, that is just a clarification.
Don't care about
And
that.
more clarification.
Some rules.
I haven't read this one actually.
This one is good.
No. Okay. Yeah. Did you read
Some ru-
some
I
rules?
can
Yep.
read.
Yep. Read
Yeah.
it.
Such as some rules, such as early warning override in Codex Tau Empire, ever vigilant stratagem in Codex Adeptus Custodes, and the Adeptus Scan Zone in Codex Space Marines, allow units to shoot at enemy units that have just arrived on the battlefields as reinforcements, as if it were the shooting phase. Bye-bye. Question: If the unit arriving as reinforcements is a character, can the firing unit shoot it even if it is not the closest enemy unit?
No, unless the firing unit is using a weapon that allows them to target a character, even if it is not the closest enemy unit. This takes place as if it were the shooting phase, so all the normal restrictions of the shooting phase still apply.
Yeah. So
and
basically,
yeah.
here is
It's a clarification of how it counts as shooting phase works.
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of discussion about that in the past, where like some rules forgot to put the counts as thing in.
yeah.
But yeah, it just makes it clearer that if it says counts as shooting phase, you use all the shooting phase rules.
Yes.
You can't ignore rules. But also, if you're
cannot.
outside the shooting phase, you can ignore the rule, which matters for like Nari that can shoot outside the shooting phase and such.
Yes.
So they can actually target things outside the. No, is it still in the? Yeah, they can. They can. I think, unless their rule specifically says counts as shooting phase. I don't remember.
Next things you've already been talking about.
Yep.
The next thing also is pretty much okay. We can do is this one. If a transport moves, does any models embarked inside the concepts also have moved?
Yes, and that is
Yes.
also clarified if you read the open topped rules. So.
Yeah, which I'm gonna come to now.
Yep.
If a transport with the open top ability, i.e. a truck,
Yep.
Is within range of an aura ability, are units that are embarked upon the transport affected by that ability?
No.
No.
Yep.
So it's a double-edged sword there.
Yep.
Can units embark inside a transport in a phase other than a movement phase, such as when they are using the fire and fade stratagem from Codex Craftworlds, or when a unit performs its soul burst actions to move again?
No, unless the rule in question specifically states that the unit can embark inside a transport.
Yeah.
Because they also added that to the transport rule that it needs to be the movement phase. So,
yeah. Yes.
It's just another, also a clarification.
This one could be interesting, though.
Oh no.
Some characters have aura abilities, such as a commissar's aura of discipline or a chaplain's spiritual leader, that allows nearby friendly units to use the character's leadership characteristics instead of their own. There are also lots of abilities that modify leadership characteristics. Could you explain how the rules interact and in what order I should apply the substitute of any modification?
So you modify the leadership characteristic first, then you use the character's leadership characteristic instead. This means that the modification will not affect the unit unless the character's leadership also has been modified.
Kinda makes sense.
Yeah. It feels like that would be clear as you play it, right?
Already talked about that.
Yeah, and then there's a roll-off. It's basically a roll-off for anything that happens at the same time now. Just remember that if you and your opponent doesn't anything at the same time, roll off for it these days. Not turn player.
Which makes more sense than just...
It makes it more dynamic and fun.
Yeah.
What? If a unit starts its movement phase within one of an enemy, can it use a rule that removes them from the battlefield and then sets them up again, such as the Teleport Homer ability or the Gate of Infinity, psychic power? Yes, and I don't really see why that would be an issue before, but I guess it's because people think of it as a move, but it's actually not a move. It's an ability that removes them and puts them back. And as we also got clarified for us before, anything that is removed from the battlefield and returns ignores everything that was on it before. So they're not in close combat, they're not,
This question is a bit weird, though. Some abilities and stratagems confer extra bonuses each time a hit roll. Extra bonuses each time a hit roll off. For example, 6+ is rolled. If a weapon has an ability that says this weapon automatically hits its target, you have still rolled the hit rolls for those attacks in the hope of gaining such a bonus.
Was that the whole question? Yeah. No hit rolls are made when resolving attacks with such weapons. And so they will never benefit from such a bonus.
Yeah. So IG, if a weapon or something says like, if you roll a 6+ in your hit rolls, you get an extra attack, but you shoot with the weapon that says it automatically hits targets, that thing does not apply anymore. So you don't get an extra attack if you shoot with a weapon that automatically hits.
Is that what?
That's what I take from it anyway.
Isn't this just a clarification? Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. But I don't know when that would ever happen.
Me neither. It's a really weird question. I can't really see when this... Because
maybe once again, maybe if there's ever like an ability or a stratagem that makes auto hits instead of normal hit rolling, but I don't see this happening too often or ever.
Yeah, but here it is, and if it would happen, we now have an explanation.
Yeah, thank goodness for that.
Okay.
Thank you, Games Workshop.
Yeah. Question: if a rule states that you can choose a unit to fight again, what does this mean exactly?
What it means exactly, H, don't you know? It means repeat the entire fight phase for that unit. Choose to fight with that unit, pile in with that unit, choose its target, choose its melee weapon, resolve its close combat attacks, and then consolidate with it.
Yeah.
So...
Yay!
Exactly
again.
What we thought it was. It's actually fun that it consolidates again. But yeah, that's obviously they do that.
Yeah. Is it...
Do they pile in again? Yeah, they pile in again as well. So.
Yeah, exactly. So...
I don't know why this is a question, to be fair. It's just a clarification question, I guess.
Yeah, because fight again is kind of weird to know in beforehand what it actually means. God, it's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Should we...
Read the next one? Yes.
Okay. Question. If a unit that can fight twice in the fight phase charges one enemy unit and destroys it during the first fight in the move equivalent fight phase, and then consolidates into a second enemy unit, do they then attack that unit during their second fight?
The charging unit can only make attacks against the second unit if it's also declared a charge against it in the charge phase. And I don't know, we didn't have to read this because this was clear as day, I think.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like this even needed clarification.
No.
To be fair.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Blah blah blah. This
Yep.
one is a good one, I think.
Okay. Go ahead.
A chainsword has the following ability. Each time the bearer fights, it can make one additional attack with its weapon. If, example, a Khorne berserker is armed with a chainsword and a chain axe, does he make 2 attacks with the chain axe and then 1 additional attack with the chainsword, or does he have to split his attacks, making at least 1 attack with the chainsword to be able to make the additional attack with the chainsword?
He can make 2 attacks with the chain axe, then 1 additional attack with the chainsword.
Yeah.
So
It's more for like stats wise.
yeah, it has to do with stats, but it's also.
Yeah.
I've always felt that rule has been obvious, but I know that a lot of people are like, "Oh, he can make an extra attack. That means he can attack with this broken weapon." No, it's the weapon
Yeah.
that gets to attack. Oh, anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's so many
The
questions.
next one
and
is
you have to
this is
skip
a
some.
clarification that's obvious. If an ability says that it works in a phase, it triggers on both phases,
Yeah.
no matter whose
You
turn it
already
is.
covered the thing with the objective marker.
Yep.
Certain abilities. We already covered that.
Well, I guess here is the clarification, the thing you thought about before.
Yeah, but we covered that. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, here's one. Is the deployment step of a mission considered to be a phase for the purposes of rules?
No. So then you can use your deploy stratagem a lot of times. Strike from the shadows. You can
Yeah.
use it several times.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it doesn't count as a phase.
So I can use So just spend points to make things appear.
Yep.
Randomly.
That's
That
really
is
good
really,
then.
Really good.
Yeah, Raven Guard is that's really, really good for them.
Raven Guard is broken.
Well,
Well, kind of.
it
Not
is
really.
one of the best basic marine armies, unless you didn't
Yeah.
count Gilliman.
Yeah.
Because then Ultramarines. But
Note that this means that the strategic discipline match play rule does not apply to stratagems that are used during blah blah blah
yeah,
blah.
exactly. That's what we said.
Last.
Oh,
Second last
there's
question.
actually a super important one here.
Yeah,
Which one are you doing?
the second last one.
This-
Some units have an ability that says that a model in the unit must be deployed at the same time, but thereafter each unit model is treated as a separate unit, i.e., vehicle squadrons and something like that. For the purpose of the missions that have the first blood victory condition, if a unit has an ability, if a unit has an ability, does every model in it need to be destroyed for the opponent to claim first blood, or just a single model?
The models in such units are each treated as an individual unit after they have been deployed, so destroying a single one of them satisfies the first blood victory condition. And it even says in most codexes where that's a rule that they count as units. So, for the purposes of other rules. But this one is the important one right here.
Question.
Yes,
I have a question.
Yes.
For the purposes of sudden death rule, do units that are embarked within transport with the flyer battlefield role count as being on the battlefield?
No. And that
Dun,
is
dun, dun.
super important, actually. Because I'm pretty sure that I've just lost with my Death Watch a few times if this was the case. Because this wasn't
maybe.
a thing before, I think. I think this has been
No.
added now. It was just, it needed to be on the table. Anywhere on the table. But now if you have a unit and a flyer, it counts as them not being on the table anymore. Which means you lose the game.
Yes.
Because you lose the game if you only have flyers on the battlefield. So this is actually a Death Watch nerf right here. Sadly.
That's what nerf.
Yep. Because they would lose if they are all in their flyers.
Oh yeah,
So you need to have some
That is
units on the table. and
on
such.
the ground.
Yeah.
So to speak. Yeah.
And
that's the
it's
last
good. What do you think of that one, though? That's a pretty big one, to be fair.
I mean, yeah, I think it's good. I don't really have that much thought about it. Maybe I just haven't been thinking about it so much.
I think it's mostly so that you can't protect your army by just having a guy in a flyer.
Yeah, maybe.
anymore because the rule said if you
Yes.
only have flyers left on the battlefield, then you lose. But if you could have
Yeah.
one single miniature in one of them and still be alive, that would be kind of
Yeah.
cheesy.
Yeah, it
that's-
is.
that's-
Still, it will still be counting as a flyer just on the battlefield.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
I think
it's another
good rule.
nerf to flyer armies, even though they probably don't need more nerfs now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there aren't that many flyer. Yeah, suppose how you build the armies.
Yep.
So
And now
that's
it's now it's also harder to spam flyers anyway because of the rules of data
Yes.
sheets. So maybe it doesn't
Yay!
matter, but who knows?
Who
All
knows?
right.
That was the
Well,
last bloody question.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna remove this from the thing so that we don't have to see it.
Yeah,
There we go.
yes.
It's gone from the side over here. It's just us
Yeah,
now.
now you also have the glorious picture in the
Ooh.
background.
Yes. It is actually a really good picture. It's probably one of my favorite edition pictures
Yeah.
ever. Because Death Guard and Space Marine in it. So that's pretty cool. Well,
Space Marine.
that
Space Marine.
was the first. Are we done? Do you feel like you're done? Do you have anything to say before we?
I feel like we're done. I can check the list of things. Yeah, we talked about everything that we want to talk about. We talked about the FAQ, went through it. We talked about why they did the thing they did, and we talked about what means for us really.
Yeah.
And what the changes will have affect us. How the changes will affect us.
Mostly me.
So now we just have one more thing to talk about.
And what's that?
Really. About our future.
Oh, the
Mm.
future of the command point. No, it's actually a future of something else. But maybe we should add it. Nah.
I
So
don't know.
when's the first game? Is it on a Saturday?
It's on
A
a Tuesday, actually.
Yes. So next Tuesday, me and H will start our Warhammer Total War campaign.
Epic face off.
Epic face off. And I will be
Yes.
doing Lizardmen.
And I will be doing the Tomb Kings.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And it's gonna be we're
Lovely.
gonna play the actual campaign from Total Warhammer 2. Total War Warhammer 2. Such a weird name.
The smaller campaign, that is.
Yes.
I mean,
or
the
the more
actual campaign.
focused campaign
Yeah, the more
compared to the
focused.
first one.
Yes.
And that's gonna be super fun. I'm gonna put up an event on the page so that you can go and see when that goes live and that you can follow and get
Yeah.
notified and yada yada. But it's basically my normal streaming time next Tuesday, and you're gonna stream
Yes.
it as well.
I'm gonna stream it as well. I'm gonna
So-
stream it from my side.
So we're gonna set up a
So-
multi stream page probably where you can see both streams and
Yeah.
follow along however you want.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
So that will be fun.
Yes.
Should that be a part of the command point, or will that just be another series completely?
That's just gonna be a series, I think.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Command Points is our Warhammer miniature game
Yeah,
chat.
true.
Really.
True. So that was it for the first command point, and I feel like we
Yeah.
ruined it forever. It was long.
No.
It was weird. We couldn't say carrot sticks.
From now on, it's carrot sticks.
Oh, I like it. I just
Yeah.
we need to thank No Sock for coming. Oh, was it No Sock? No, it was. I don't know who said it now, but carrot sticks.
Yeah. The one
Thank-
who came up with carrot sticks, thank you so much for.
Yeah. Except if it's
Or-
you know who you are. If it was you, then not so much.
Thank you for helping our tongues, really.
Yeah.
And mouth.
And mouths.
And mouth.
That was fun. In the future, we're probably
Yeah.
gonna do shorter episodes. I'm thinking
Yeah.
somewhere between, anywhere between 15 minutes and an hour, depending on what we talk about. But
Yeah.
none that's this long ever again.
No. But
Hopefully.
then again, in the future, it will be smaller updates and changes, I think.
So whenever
I mean,
there's
the
like,
next- What's the next big thing we should talk about then? Because we know what stuff.
there might be like maybe we should talk about rumors next time, something like that. Because rumors is something probably we're gonna look at
Yeah.
in the future
Probably.
and make shorter videos about. Because
Yeah.
that we could just record. We don't have to stream that. We could just record and
Yeah.
upload.
Exactly.
Uh,
And maybe just talk about when stuff comes out, also, or new stuff comes out.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
When
yeah.
as soon as
Because I want to talk about the nights where they come out.
so we're gonna talk about the community page updates, rather like
Yeah.
when there's a big community page thing or a small one that we are interested in, we'll talk about it.
Exactly.
And to be fair, I'm just gonna have to say this: the Queen actually made me kind of tempted to almost get the lizards and dinosaurs for Age of Sigmar, because I'm looking at them, I'm like, they are kind of cool, but no one of us play it, so that's unfortunate.
Don't.
I'm always tempted to start new miniature games, though. Yeah, I know, I'm horrible.
I will never ever do Age of Sigmar.
Why? Why
I
the
don't know.
hate?
I'm not hating. I'm just. It's enough with one thing to be obsessed about.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
What if we play like, what if I get 2 armies for a game like Infinity, the miniature game? Because that's not a lot of models. Would you play it?
I don't know what the Infinity game is.
Look up Infinity the game. I think that's what it's called. Anyway,
Infinity miniatures.
I'm just gonna do this for the YouTube right now. Everyone watching, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to check the links down below. You can find the streams. You can watch this live and awesomeness. Check out H8 on Twitch
out
and
my channel.
YouTube and Twitter and all. He's H here on Twitter though. We should add like tags down here in the future.
Yeah.
Check him out as well. I am Nurgleprobe. This is the channel you're watching it on probably. Find the Twitch thing down below, as I said. Watch it live. It's gonna be cool. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.